Hello to my amazing art students at home or here with me at school. Today we will be creating a Piet Mondrian style drawing or painting using lines, squares, rectangles, and the three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, and blue are called the primary colors because you can't mix any other colors together to create them, like you can with the secondary colors of orange, green, and purple. First, let's look at some artwork by Piet Mondrian. Piet Mondrian was a Dutch painter who was born in 1872. At one time, Mondrian painted realistic landscapes like this boat and scenes from around his home in the Netherlands. But as he painted more and more, his style began to change. He started to create abstract images. These paintings still look like trees and everyday objects, but you can see the shapes and lines shifting away from reality. Can you see the shape of a tree in this painting? It shows how he began to develop his abstract style. The trunk and branches of the tree have become a network of horizontal and vertical lines. How did he come to paint this way? Well, the more Mondrian looked at trees, buildings, and vases, the more he saw their basic shapes and colors. You can try this too. Just squint your eyes while you are looking at something, and all the details will start to disappear. You will see only shapes and color. No real objects. This is what Mondrian did. Eventually, Mondrian's style consisted of geometric shapes and primary colors. After all, every shape can be created from the basic geometric shapes, and every color can be created from the primaries, red, yellow, and blue. Mondrian is best known for his abstract paintings. Art that is abstract does not show things that are recognizable, such as people, objects, or landscapes. Instead, artists use colors, shapes, and textures to achieve their effect. Mondrian did not use a ruler to measure out his lines. He thought carefully about where to place the lines, like those you see in this painting. Now, it is time to create our own Piet Mondrian style piece of art. Let's go over our supplies we will need for this project. You will need a sheet of paper any size. I have chosen a heavyweight paper because we will be using some water and a paintbrush at the end of the project, and if my paper is too thin, it could rip. Next, you'll need the three primary colors, yellow, blue, and red. I'm using markers for a special reason, but if you do not have markers, anything to color with will do. If you have watercolor or other paint and you have permission to use it, go for it. You'll need a crayon or a Sharpie, black. A washable marker will not work for this. You will also need a pencil, a paintbrush, a cup of water, and a ruler. Whoops, I almost forgot to write my name on the back. On the top left corner, write your name. Under that, we will write shape, line, and color. These are the elements of art that we are using to complete this project. And last, write Piet Mondrian. He is our artist that we are studying. Pause the video if you need more time to write these down. Let's do it. Next, take your black crayon and draw some dark, defined lines reaching from one edge of your paper to the other. Make sure you are holding your ruler down tight to your paper so it doesn't have a dance party in the middle of your art project. Your black lines can go either horizontally or vertically across your paper. You can make as many lines as you want going in either of these directions. Sometimes I don't go all the way across the paper and will stop at the edge of one line to create some different size squares and rectangles. This just makes your art project a little more interesting. Fill your paper with these lines and shapes. Once you are happy with your composition or arrangement of your drawing, we will start to color. Taking your markers, color in as many of the shapes as you would like. I chose to leave a lot of my shapes white, but you can color in as many as you want. We are leaving the inside of the squares empty as well for a special trick. We've done this before, you might remember. We will be using water and a paintbrush to transform our regular everyday markers into watercolor paint. I like to use this trick because it takes away the marker lines from coloring, and it's always fun to paint with water. If you don't have washable markers, this trick won't work, but please color your Mondrian drawing with whatever coloring tools you have. Also, if your paper is too thin, you might end up with some holes. To paint with our water, simply wet your paintbrush and paint over the color inside each square. Do one at a time. If you try to paint them all at once, they will turn into more than the primary colors, probably brown, so be careful. With a wet paintbrush, paint the marker around the edges first and then paint towards the center. You can get more water if you need it. Remember to wash your paintbrush out between each color. You know what happens if you don't. Your colors will turn into a big muddy mess. Also recommend to do yellow first, just in case your paintbrush does get a little bit dirty, because yellow doesn't like to make friends with other colors. If you get red or blue, your yellow will turn either orange or green. So I recommend starting with yellow and then working on your other colors after that. If you don't have a paintbrush, a Q-tip will work almost as well. Just wet it in the water cup and massage around the edges where your color is and work your way towards the middle of your square. It doesn't work quite as well as a paintbrush, but it definitely gets the job done. Finish up your Piet Mondrian style shapes by painting all of your colored squares, adding more if you want to, and then letting it dry in a nice flat location. Great job today, guys. You've made yourself a piece of abstract art, and I know you did a terrific job. If you have any questions, send them to me on Schoology.